Medical treatments and procedure can be very painful sometimes. Though in the modern times, many medical procedures are performed after giving anesthesia so that patient doesn't feel any pain. But that was not always the case. In fact, few decades back, many operations and surgeries were performed without anesthesia. Patient remains awake all the time during the operation and feels all the pain, whether it is bone being cut apart or the skull is being opened using a drill machine. In fact, some operations and procedures were so insane that they were banned and made illegal, like hydropathy. This treatment was so horrifying that it was banned by United Nations on the grounds of violating basic principles of dignity and respect for human life. But long before United Nations and humanitarian organizations even existed, in 1800s, if someone had a stomach infection or a chest pain or any other abdomen related disease, then the solution for this was only hydropathy or water cure. In this, a lot of water is poured inside the person until he can no longer hold it, and then that water is being taken out. Along with that water, any infection or toxic substances will also come out. What was done in this was, if a patient was having a pain in his stomach or any kind of infection, he was made to lie down and a pipe was inserted through his throat and a lot of water was pumped inside his body. So much water that his entire gut and lungs started getting filled. And when the gut and lungs were almost about to be filled, doctors would take out the pipe and then take out all the water. And this was done multiple times. Drinking large quantities of water in short time resulted in choking of lungs and disturbed the entire chemical balance in the body, and numerous deaths due to water intoxication. This procedure was so painful and horrifying that almost 80% of the times that patient did not survive this and died. This procedure was banned in early 1900 as a medical procedure, but was started being used as a torture method on criminals and prisoners until United Nations intervened and banned this procedure. Sushruta, often known by father of plastic surgery, was an ancient Indian physician and surgeon. Sushruta was renowned and famous for his surgeries, especially rhinoplasty. This procedure involved reshaping and rebuilding a damaged or an injured nose using a flap of skin taken from the cheek or forehead. But remember, this procedure was done in ancient times without modern pain management techniques. So to minimize pain, Sushruta used alcohols like wine and herbal sedatives obtained from plants. They used to numb the pain and calm down the person up to some extent. Actually, these sedative herbs work differently on every person. Some would get sedated for very long time and some don't even feel anything. So the only way left was to make patient motivated beforehand. Sushruta would prepare the patient mentally and physically for the surgery by emphasizing the importance of this procedure. The procedure starts and the skin flap from the forehead or cheek is removed, and obviously a lot of blood comes out. To stop that bleeding, cauterization was done, where a red hot iron with herbal preparations was applied to the served blood vessels to seal them and stop the bleeding. In 1600s, when a person was possessed with an evil spirit or demon, he used to undergo a process of exorcism, a process of removing evil spirits or demons from a person. You might have heard about exorcism from movies. You might also know that process of exorcism not always work. So when the exorcism did not work, then the same person was taken to a doctor, where a painful procedure of trepanation was performed on him, a process in which a hole in the skull is drilled and the piece of bone is removed to treat the mental illness. But here it was done to get rid of the evil spirits, as it was believed whenever an evil spirit possesses a person, that evil spirits get stored in somewhere inside person's brain. So trepanation was performed on them to remove those evil spirits. Though trepanation is very normal procedure today, as modern technologies like drilling machines, under anesthesia is used so that person doesn't feel anything. But at that time, when the hole was drilled inside the patient's head, the patient was conscious because there was no anesthesia at that time. A hole was drilled inside the head of a conscious patient with no proper tools. I will show you the image of these tools, which are quite terrifying to be used on humans. Using these tools, holes were made in the head of the victim, and it was done by making turns and twists, like removing cork from the wine bottle. But in this case, it is a human skull. Just imagine the instrument turning and twisting on your head, and then slowly penetrates your skull. When a hole is created, it is pulled out with a force, and you feel all the pain as you are fully conscious and awake. Today, the hole which is created in skull is very small, but in earlier times, the tools were very big, and the hole which is made inside the skull could be 3 to 5 inches in diameter. By making such big holes, the doctors used to think that through these holes, the evil spirit inside the person will come out this time, while the patient remains awake in his all senses and crying out loud in pain. In 1920s, French doctor Serge Voronoff was very fascinated with xenotransplantation, a procedure in which damaged human organs can be replaced with healthy animal organs. Voronoff came up with this crazy concept that could stop humans from aging. He believed that aging process that happens in human males is somehow linked to our testicles. The performance of our testicles is directly linked to our aging, and as the males age, their performance considerably decreases. Yes, you are thinking correctly, I am talking about that performance. So now, to reverse the aging and improve the human lifestyle again, he came up with the concept that human male testicles should be replaced with monkey's testicles through xenotransplantation. He not only performed these surgeries on males, but also on females. He switched organs of female monkeys and human females. He believed that we have evolved from apes and monkeys, so this can work and make humans young even at the old age. Many doctors and scientists discarded this whole theory and said straight away that this is insanity and that this man is gone crazy. In fact, a British doctor called his work no better than methods of witches and magicians. But the concept of reverse aging was so fascinating that people started getting xenotransplantation secretly without letting anyone know about them, especially athletes. Many old people got this surgery done. This transplantation was done by Voronoff himself. Voronoff believed that the hormones produced by monkeys' testicles would revitalize his patients. However, in a research it was discovered that animal tissues inserted into a human would be rejected by the human body or would result in a scar tissue. Most of the person who got this surgery were anonymous. They would secretly undergo this surgery. So what was the actual result of this surgery remained unknown. Some scientists even blamed Voronoff's operations for the mutation that allowed HIV virus to grow. But this blame was later proved wrong. At that time, people were made to believe that any pain or infection in the body or any illness inside the body, there could be only one reason for it: the excess of blood in that region. People used to think that if a person is having pain in his hand, then it means that there is some problem with the blood inside the hand, or there is an excess of blood inside his hand. So what did doctors do at that time? They had a simple solution for that. They create a small cavity with a very sharp object and let the blood come out through it. Sometimes doctor even used leeches, a worm that sucks out blood from your body if placed on your skin. People used to think that if someone is having pain in his leg, then extract blood from his leg. If someone is having pain in his head, then extract blood from the head. At that time, there were not so many advancements in medical field, and people used to do whatever they felt was right. This was very common medical procedure during those days. We can feel relieved that these procedures were things of the past, and such procedures do not happen now. So that's it for this video. Tell me in the comment box which one of these is the most painful procedure in your opinion. And I will see you all again in some other video with another interesting topic. Till then, goodbye.